Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we have a bit of an update about Arknights Endfield. And ladies and gentlemen, fortunately, the devs have listened. I've heard from the grapevine that the Arknights Enfield devs have gone ahead, actually listened to their player base, and made some updates to go ahead and make the game feel better for its players. But unfortunately, we have a situation over here developing with none other than Tobo. And if you guys aren't familiar with Tobo himself and the types of content that he ends up making, Tobo is easily perhaps the most elitist player of gacha I've ever seen, where a main basis behind the arguments that they're bringing to the table are, I want to go through annoying, arduous, time-consuming things, and other people should have that same exact sort of price for playing a game. Stuff that's not fun, stuff that is, really mechanically intensive, that doesn't make a lot of sense, that's what makes the game fun for him. And he's the only person that deserves to have fun, because he's willing to deal with the complexity of a game. And fuck everybody else who isn't going ahead and doing the same exact boring things with him. And the thing is, he's made multiple videos about this dodge in Arknights Endfield. He's made multiple claims that Enfield is going to kill itself in terms of its launch if it doesn't go back to what nobody actually wanted. And so we've got his live reaction over here to this whole situation, and I guess a bit of a demonstration as well. And I was just excited to see what the most elitist person's take is, and perhaps I think one of the most dangerous members of the Enfield community, if I'm frankly being honest, because I actually think he wants this game to die, frankly being real. Let's see what his take is on the matter.
New dodge from China Joy livestream.
Well, I think that tells you enough about his response. Merely the dodge mechanic being changed is enough for him to go for this one.
Hello there. It's 8:36 in the morning here in the UK.
And just as a last thing, you know how I mentioned that his way to have fun is the only way to play the game? He confirmed that himself in one of his own videos, where he went ahead and talked about how he would actively grief his teammates in a co-op mode by using this unit, Ak, to team kill his own partner, so that they couldn't use the units that they wanted. Yeah, he made an entire section of this video bragging about how he would grief his teammates in co-op so that they had to play in the way that he wanted them to play. Just so you know, this is currently the guy that the Arknights community is rallying around. And that's why I'm saying he's one of the people that's probably killing the game. That's just some context.
I've been up all night. We've just watched the PlayStation Enfield presentation at China Joy. Not only did we receive the devastating blow of no news at all, Enfield is not in fact tomorrow, but the only real new information that we got was regarding the dodge.
And the devs are fixing the game.
So, making this quick little video to get up today, just to make my thoughts on it clear. Basically, they've done everything that I didn't want them to do. Notice here that...
Turns out they might not be listening to elitist players whose main goal is to only enjoy the game in the way that they want, and then they'll try their best to force everybody else to have fun in the exact same way that they do. Maybe the devs decided not to listen to this guy. W devs. W.
There are 3 bars of stamina, but they don't make up half of a circle. They've added 2 more stamina bars, up from 6 to 8. Not only that, but perfect dodges now grant you a little bit of SP.
Perfection. Perfect dodges granting SP was literally one of the suggestions that I had while I was watching his super toxic videos. That was literally the suggestion that I had to make the combat feel better. W fucking devs. But you can clearly see, right, from the reaction of his own community, he's cultivating some of the most elitist, toxic individuals in the space, kind of like assembling them like an autistic Nick Fury. That's what's going on over here.
From 6 to 8. Not only that, but perfect dodges now grant you a little bit of SP.
Perfect.
No longer use stamina, have a much flashier animation, and don't interrupt the basic attack sequence, or just fast forward straight to the last basic attack in the sequence.
So literally the Wuthering Waves dodge mechanics that make dodging feedback, like all of that stuff, feel incredible in the game. So we have managed to put a negative spin on the developers instituting changes to their combat mechanics to make the gameplay feel more smooth, more rewarding, and more fulfilling for the player. And we've gone ahead, and because we're so elitist and we're so against people having fun in a prescribed way that we didn't want, he wanted clunkier combat. He wanted there to be visible costs for doing things like dodges. I think he actually even wanted the dodge button removed from the game completely. But instead, the devs had decided to do the opposite. Take a page from the Wuthering Waves playbook, a game that is widely considered the game with the best combat in gacha. And we're getting mad at the devs for doing that. I think it's a W to Arknights. I am 1000% playing the shit out of this game on release now. This, to me, has made Arknights one of the most appealing games possible on the market. And I know that there are hundreds, if not thousands of other players who are going to hear this news and have the exact same thoughts as me, because that dodge system looked clunky as fucking shit in the alpha and beta test. It did not look good. The gameplay didn't look like it was right. And with the whole like SP resource generation stuff like that, the game was clearly trying to be an action open world RPG. Not as open world as other games, but way more action oriented. And this is them just fully diving right on into it. And I'm certain a lot of people are really going to like what they're seeing over here.
Giving you the final strike much sooner. And additionally, you see there, animations are still cancelable. They've done absolutely everything that I didn't want them to do. But there are still some questions that haven't been answered. We don't know if this is specific to Enmin's class, like it could be specific to guards or specialists or whatever. I
think that what you're seeing live right now is an elitist's world crumbling around them, where they're beginning to realize, damn, I'm a really small subsection of the player base, and nobody actually agrees with me. This is just proof that Hypergriff does not give a fuck about what these elitists are saying. It makes it clear that Hypergriff clearly has an objective in mind to make Enfield their most popular game ever. And they're actively going out, they're reading feedback, and they want the game to be as close to mainstream as humanly possible. And what's happening right now is that the dynamic of these elitists, right, is that they've been in this closed off community, this echo chamber, where all they've done is just jerk each other off, talking about how right they are for things that they're clearly wrong about. And in this situation, you're seeing that, oh man, maybe I was in an echo chamber this entire time. Maybe gatekeeping everybody out of the community has resulted in a warped perspective of gaming as a whole, and that has influenced a lot of my opinion. That's probably the thought that he should be having right now, realizing that even with all of these views, all of this stuff, it was insignificant, because maybe you're actually just wrong. Huh.
Like, Enmin is the only character that was showcased. We don't know if this new dodge is specific only to the red circles on the ground. We don't know if it's specific to, if they've made it, so the perfect dodge is harder to trigger or just as hard to trigger. We don't know if they'll design enemies that, design an abundance of enemies that make it harder to dodge. We just don't know. There's lots of questions that remain to be answered, and a lot of the effectiveness of dodging in the future will rely on how they design the enemies. And they've been quite good at enemy design in Arknights, but it remains to be seen whether they'll carry that over to Enfield.
So the summary of the system is, you now get rewarded very, very highly for doing dodges properly, and you get less dodges if you fuck them up. So dodges are now like a very important thing to weave together into the combat. And if you don't dodge well and you don't dodge properly, you'll probably get fucked over in a lot of the fights. Sounds great to me. Sounds like fun to me.
But really, the purpose of making this is to say that, yeah, what I wanted for the game is not going to happen.
Thank God. Thank God.
They have made the dodge much easier. They have effectively removed, well, I say effectively, they have removed all downsides from dodging. There is no consequence or punishment or any trade-off whatsoever for dodging.
Proof? Oh, so from that very limited gameplay reveal in CN, you know everything about the dodge system. You know that there's no cost at all to it. You clearly highlighted that the bar was shorter, right? The first thing that we highlight over here is the fact that this bar is one of the smallest stamina bars I've ever seen. Straight up. This looks like you get 3 of them before you have to wait for the gauge to refill back up. Maybe I'm tripping, but this doesn't look like a lot of dodges to me if one of them took that much of the meter away. Maybe I'm just tripping, but we're just out here. And because the devs dared to put in something that we didn't like, we're now theory crafting without proof and making declarative statements that there are no costs. It's way easier when we haven't even played it yet.
I say effectively, they have removed all downsides from dodging.
Hey, maybe he should play another game. Hey, I don't think Enfield was made for him. And you want to know what the funny thing about it was? That was his reply to people saying that they wanted a better dodge. He said that they should just find a different game. They should just find a different game. And unfortunately, right, it seems that that's what he's going to do instead. It appears that he has filtered himself.
There is no consequence or punishment or any trade-off whatsoever for dodging. You can just dodge to your heart's content. And that is how Enfield looks now. The other major question, of course, is that this build looks mighty similar to the January beta, and we don't know if this build is an early build, and we don't know if it's changed in the month since, but like this is all just, it's just copium.
I'm sorry. So there was a gameplay reveal that just happened, and he's saying that this might just actually be an early build, even though stuff got updated and changed. We're literally watching a guy's, like, I've never seen somebody like this copium or like emotionally devastated over like a mechanics change in a game before. It actually feels like he just got told that like he's adopted or something at like the age of 25. And then he's like fucking reflecting on like the past like 20 years.
We don't know if it's changed in the month since, but like this is all just, it's just copium. Really, at this point, I have to say, yeah, that's it. I give in. That's how Enfield looks now. That's what Enfield wants to do. That's what Hypergriff wants to do. That's what they want for the game.
Yep, they want to fix it. They want the game to be mainstream. They worked a lot in the game's assets. They worked a lot in the world design. They have crazy good graphical fidelity, great menu animations, all of that. They simply want to get rewarded for their efforts by making a game that they feel like more people are going to play, because they got the feedback from their earlier beta tests that nobody wants to fucking play this shit because it feels clunky as fuck. And so they got that feedback. They found out from the players themselves how to make it feel less clunky and more satisfying and fulfilling. And then they made those changes into the game. And all you have is like this community of elitists who build pride in their ability to deal with annoying gameplay mechanics that nobody else wants to deal with. And they view nobody else wanting to play the game as like a benefit to them. Look, I'm engaging and playing with systems nobody else wants to. That means I'm better than everybody else. I'm better than everybody else because I'm willing to go in and do the stuff nobody else wants to do. That's not a flex. That's not a flex. It's just this weird elitist pride. And you're seeing it just crumble in front of you live in 4K. And I'm going to be honest, this is probably the best thing that has ever happened to the Enfield community. The game hasn't even released yet. And this is 1000% the best thing that could have happened. The more and more of these elitists that get this reality check, the better the game is going to do. Because people like this kill the community. And the great thing about this is they don't exist in MUWA. They don't exist in Genshin. They don't exist in HSR. But they do exist in ZZZ. And you can see firsthand what elitists like this are doing to a game like ZZZ. Nobody wants to fucking play that shit. Nobody wants to talk about ZZZ or play it, because the elitist community is so fucking insufferable. And the more headway you get in eliminating this in Enfield, the better the game is going to do. It's just that simple.
I made my feelings known. I did what I could. I still think this is the wrong decision, but I'm not Hypergriff. I'm not making the game, they are. The most important thing, though...
This is all the guy has to say after making an entire 23-minute video saying that people that want the dodge change to feel better are a bunch of losers. We made 23-minute video, a 30-minute one, 4 months ago, just talking shit about all these dumb little casuals that are asking for the game to be made more fulfilling or to just feel less clunky. And now we gotta face reality. It's amazing.
So that I want to say with this little video is that this doesn't diminish my passion for the game. I'm still just as passionate about Enfield as I was before.
Nah, he's gonna see that there aren't any convoluted mechanics that he can pretend add value to the game to like brag about knowing how to do better than other people. And the lack of that in the game is what's gonna drive him away from it. 1000%. Oh, there's no like unnecessary bullshit that nobody wants to do for me to like pretend is like actually super, super valuable and worth spending time on? Fuck. Damn, all that's here is like a good game and a good gameplay experience. Fuck, I need more than that.
Yeah, I'm disappointed that they've done this with the dodge, that they've taken this direction, but like, it should have been obvious from the videos that I made that I have enormous passion for this game, and that hasn't gone away. I said I would be there no matter what when the game comes out, and that remains true.
Oh yeah?
I will still be making content for this game. I am still going to log the fuck in, harder than I've ever logged in before when this game comes out. You will see much more content from me on Enfield. I'm not going anywhere. But this is just to say, yeah. What I wanted for the game, at least for the combat side of it, is not happening.
Thank God for that one. Thank God, because I guarantee you, if the Hypergriff devs actually listened to this guy and implemented what he was talking about in his prior videos, the game would definitively EOS within several months. It would just be cooked.
But there's nothing more I can do. I have to accept the game for what it is. The motivation behind making those videos was because I wanted Hypergriff to make the game they want to make.
And you can see it right here. This guy thinks that he knows the type of game Hypergriff wants to make better than Hypergriff themselves. This is the level of elitism that I'm telling you about. He even says over here, I still think Hypergriff is wrong about their vision of the game. I actually am the honored one. I know what Hypergriff's real vision actually is. These changes they just made to the dodge, that's not actually what they wanted. I'm telling you. These stupid gacha normies, these Genshin players, these Wuwa players, they're ruining the game that Hypergriff wants to make. I'm serious. I know better than them. I know better than the devs. I know better than their Q&A team. I'm the only one that should be getting praise in the Enfield community because I know the true vision of this game. Motherfucker, are you serious?
And I kind of have to just accept that this is the game they want to make. I can admit when I'm wrong. This this doesn't mean Enfield's gonna EOS or anything. It's gonna make shitloads of money.
It's gonna do way better now than what it was doing before, after these changes.
Regardless, it was going to make shitloads of money, regardless of whether or not it removed the dodge. It doesn't. My concern was never about Enfield failing or anything like that. It's gonna make loads of money. My concern was whether or not it was a game that I wanted it to be. That it was a game that I would be able to cherish.
Now we went from I knew what the Hypergriff devs wanted to it was just the type of game that I wanted. And like I said before, this is the same guy on the record bragging about griefing his teammate in co-op because he knows best the best ways to enjoy a game. And if you don't listen to him, well, you're wrong, right? And it's just, I'm not gonna lie, people with an ego like this, for absolutely no reason, are just the type of creators, the types of like discussion that I feel like have almost no actual value in the space. It's just one dude with a severe god complex that was completely unearned, telling you that you're like stupid, telling you the way that like you're supposed to have fun, and then like trying to like drive away actual good criticism because it's not something that he came up with. And it's just, I'm so glad that whatever kind of malformed opinions that this guy had and was trying to spread, it got a lot of airtime. But I am thanking God that none of the devs at Hypergriff listen to a single word that he had to say, and the game is going to be so much better for it. I am really looking forward to Enfield now. That dodge and this whole situation that Tobo has been cooking up to try to fucking crash the game into a pole on the highway, that was one of the biggest fears that I had. But now, I think the game is saved. I think the game's in a really good spot, and we will be playing it on release a lot. So yeah, that'll be that. Let me know what you all thought about this one, ladies and gents. Always good to see an elitist buckle down a little bit. All right, let me know what you all think. Peace.